to true crime with strategic eyes.
Strategic back again. Now this show right here, this is going to be an update show, but this topic, this show, Austin Drummond, our subject, this is close to home. And it's not close to home in a way that you think it might be close to home when somebody says that. This means a lot to me. And I'm going to tell you why this true crime story particularly means a lot to me. Many of you know me as a active duty detective. That's what I do. That's what I am. But for most of my career, I worked for the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision Office of Special Investigation. I started my career out on the blocks as a regular correction officer, securing cell blocks, tending to inmates, using force when necessary, and de-escalating whenever possible. From there, I put an application in to go do investigations for, at the time, it was the Office of the Inspector General, and we later rebranded ourselves the Office of Special Investigations. And from my first day on the job as an investigator, when I was lucky enough to be selected, to my last day on the job when I resigned my position and I became a police officer and I went to the police academy to become a police officer and later a detective, I investigated SEX crimes. I investigated all inmate-on-inmate assault cases involving SEX and all staff-on-inmate SEX cases. And nobody on the outside understands how difficult a job it is internal affairs investigators play, the role that they play, the work that they do, but people who are in that business. I don't work for internal affairs anymore. I'm just a regular detective investigating SEX crimes on the streets. But at the time, for almost 12 years, I was basically an internal affairs investigator working in the SEX division. We took our job very seriously. And I got to tell you something funny, because now that I'm a police officer, police officers hate internal affairs. That's like, you're a rat, you're horrible. But in the inside, not policing, as correction officers respect internal affairs because they understand that when an officer becomes corrupt, it is a threat to their very life. See, on the street as cops, we got the luxury of saying, oh, internal affairs, oh, they just want to jam you up. They just want to get you in trouble for little stupid stuff. But on the inside, it's a matter of life and death. So often I investigated cases where staff who were involved with relationships with inmates would bring in knives. There was one instance, not my case, but one instance in the history of state corrections, where somebody brought in a gun. The biggest prison escape in modern American history was the escape from Dannemora in upstate New York. Cost the state of New York $30 million to find those two escaped inmates. I was a part of that escape. I was a part of the looking for those guys and the investigation. That escape happened because of an unauthorized SEX relationship, allegedly, between a female seamstress civilian and two inmates. She was doing allegedly two inmates. She got 8 years in prison. I think she's out now. When she was inside, I was her handler. It was my job to take the cases that because she was a constant complainer. You watching this right now? Hi, I'm the guy who was to listen to your phone calls. She's out now. Why does this hit close to home? Because all of those dead people who lie in the wake of Austin Drummond, they're gone because this woman behind me, this oath breaker, this former correctional officer, betrayed her oath and her badge, got into allegedly an unauthorized relationship with this man, Austin Drummond, a violent offender, exposed her family to this violent offender, and in turn, he obliterated her family. He killed so many of her family and extended family members. This is what's at stake when correction officers, more specifically, more than any other law enforcement officer, not saying it's not important, for an officer on the street, for a police officer not to get into inappropriate relationships with people, but the people on the inside. This is why it's so important that these relationships are ferreted out, thoroughly investigated, and that the people who are involved in them go to jail. I've sent many former correction officers to jail in my career before leaving there. They used to call me the mayor of Bedford. The mayor of Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, a female prison up in Westchester County, with all the officers I fired and criminally charged while I worked for New York State Corrections. This woman here was a correction employee, and allegedly she engaged in an unauthorized relationship with one of her charge. This inmate was under her supervision, allegedly. He comes out, and then he kills her family. And guess what? Rumors are that she is pregnant with his child right now. So today we're going to get updates on this case. This case that literally captured the nation. For a moment, everybody was following this case, including me. True Crime was Strategic. Now he's been apprehended. And now we get to see the next part of this case where we find justice for his victims. I'm going to go ahead. First of all, the research crew once again did an amazing job laying everything out for me, getting all this stuff that I used to have to do on my own, which made it so hard to put these shows together. Now the research crew is here donating their time, showing love to us, and we do appreciate them. I just want to read out before we continue the names of the victims. Courtney Rose, Adriana Williams, Brandon Williams, James M. Wilson, and Adriana and James' infant daughter, who's the only survivor of this mass killing. And by the way, Courtney Speed is the sister. Caitlin Speed is the sister of Courtney Rose, who was taken away by Austin Drummond. So let's jump into this, guys. We got a very informative show for you guys today. And I hope you get something out of it. Let's jump into this.
Gave him my cell phone number, and he called us to talk about his case.
So this is him talking to the news from the jail. Let's listen to him talk.
I'm innocent of what I'm charged with, yes, sir. I'm not an innocent man, but I'm not guilty of what they charged me with.
Of course, you would expect a man potentially facing the death penalty to say that.
I offered to take a polygraph.
The 28-year-old Drummond admits to a long criminal record dating back to his teenage years and was a one-time member of the Vice Lords gang. But he says he did not kill Adriana.
Let me tell you something, guys. I'm not trying to put race into this because a lot of times gangsters don't care about that stuff. But the Vice Lords gang is a predominantly African-American gang. For you to become a part of the Vice Lords, and this is this gang is huge on drug dealing. They're like a black mafia. The Vice Lords are like a black mafia. For you to be a Caucasian dude and be down with the Vice Lords, you gotta be one bad mother effer. Austin Drummond is one bad mother effer. He's a part of the Vice Lords, and he's respected, a respected, full-fledged member of the Vice Lords. He's the monster in the room. When you get in a room, you think you a killer, you think you a bad guy, you think you a tough guy. Now he's the tough guy in the room. Let's keep going.
Anna Williams, Braden Williams, Matthew James Wilson, or Courtney Rose, whose bodies were all found in Lake County on July 29th.
I had no reason to hurt these people. They were my girlfriend's family who had became my family. I took Adriana to the hospital to have her baby. I helped teach Braden to drive. Matthew was like...
He said, I had no reason to hurt these people. They were my girlfriend's family who had become my family. I took Adriana to the hospital to have her baby. I helped teach Brandon to drive. Brandon was only 15 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew was like a brother to me, man. This is what he's saying. But we know that he killed these people. But you know what? Well, we don't know. It's all alleged. It's got to be proven in court. But We do believe that he did it. Let's keep going, though, but he's not taking accountability.
Little brother to me, man.
Drummond was on the run for several days after the murders. Locals in Northwest Tennessee feared a killer was on the loose, and it made national headlines. If Drummond didn't murder the 4 victims, then why did he run?
Yes.
I did not handle the situation right by running, but I was afraid.
And here's why. Drummond says after another arrest earlier this year, he cut a deal with the Lake County District Attorney, FBI, and ATF to work as a confidential informant.
During my time working for them.
First of all, this dude is nuts because now he's making himself a target. He's making himself a target. He is admitting to being a snitch, ladies and gentlemen, and that does not go lightly in prison. That does not go lightly in prison, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going, though. I want to hear what he has to say.
I help uncover drug dealers selling multiple kilos at a time of cocaine, also drug traffickers delivering pounds of meth. We identified dirty law enforcement and correctional personnel and tap Vice Lord leadership phones.
Are you kidding me? This guy wants to perish. He should just plead guilty and take the death penalty. He literally wants to perish. He said, during my time working for them, I helped them uncover drug dealers selling multiple kilos of cocaine, also drug traffickers delivering pounds of meth. We identified dirty law enforcement and correctional personnel, just like his baby mama, allegedly, and tapped Vice Lord leadership phones. Ladies and gentlemen, wow. Let's keep going.
Now, and tap Vice Lord leadership phones.
Drummond says he learned that his cover had been blown the day of the killings, and that is why he ran.
I was afraid because I knew bad things happened. And I was afraid that because I was an informant, things would go wrong. Things would happen to me.
We did ask the district attorney about Drummond's claim that he was working as a confidential informant. The DA said he could not comment.
See, they're going to say no comments. I just said it. They're going to say no comment. They're not going to confirm or deny it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going.
At this time, we should learn much more about the case against Drummond at a preliminary hearing that's scheduled for early September. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
I mean, somebody said it in the chat, Michael Booher. Is that how you say the name, Booher? He says, I don't know, strategic. Careful what he is telling careful. What if he is telling the truth? I'm sorry, the words are very small. I'm getting old. You guys know Father Time is catching up to me. Michael might be on to something. There's a possibility. Hold on here. Hold on here. Oh, Lord. Hold on here. Oh, Aki gave us the mouth. Wait. Oh my God! Wait. This case just blew my mind. Oh my God! Did you guys hear what we just heard? Was this guy running from murder or was he running for his life? Oh my God. Do we have any witnesses of him murdering those people? Oh my God. His girlfriend's family was slaughtered. He don't have family. He looked at them like that was his family and now they're gone. Oh my God. And what was he doing? He was snitching. And he said his cover was blown. Bruh. He was a member of the Vice Lords, one of the most dangerous gangs out there that operates like the mafia. Oh, boy. Is it possible? Is it possible Austin Drummond is telling the truth? Is it possible Austin Drummond is telling the truth and we all had it wrong this whole time? I'm sorry, man. That blew my mind. I don't know what's going on. We're going to have to see more of this case, man. I need to see what the prosecution has because this makes sense. It doesn't mean it's the truth. Austin Drummond could very well be the person who committed these murders like we all think. But this doesn't, this is a possibility. it really doesn't make sense. Like, why would he just slaughter his girlfriend's family? Like, what do they have to do with anything? Lord of mercy. Let's keep going.
Unbelievable work by Nick Barris, by the way. Let's bring back in our think tank Randy Kessler, Erica Wilson, Josh Schiffer. This just got much more complicated. I was not expecting that.
Nope, makes it smooth, because guess what? That guy's story, 100% tracks. 100%. They put the squeeze on him as an undercover, means you go out there and jump into a pool you are not prepared to swim in. He gets mixed up with some real bad dudes that have no qualms killing your girlfriend and...
Bruh, I didn't see this video. And even this guy with the neon glasses, with the x-ray glasses, I want those glasses. I don't know what he's seeing through those glasses. I want to see what he's seeing through those glasses. I've not watched this video. The research crew gave me this video, and even this guy is saying, yo, this shit seems like it's true. And then why else would he put himself out there as a snitch knowing that that's a death sentence unless this is his only way of proving his innocence? Bruh. Let's keep going.
Her family and all these other people.
Well, the girlfriend wasn't killed. It was the girlfriend's sister.
Girlfriend, anybody, doesn't matter.
So
no, it doesn't matter.
why? What led investigators to him?
Oh, well, they had his name just from doing the profiles of everybody involved, and you know they can build these charts pretty quickly.
They had a picture of a car.
And he ran.
They had a picture of a car. They've arrested three other people who are alleged to have helped him after the fact.
Yeah, but after the fact, though. And my understanding is that after the fact was these people hiding him. I don't know. I could be wrong. We got the research. We got people. You guys, some of you are more knowledgeable about this case than me. If I'm wrong, there's no evidence that any of those people helped him move a body. These were people that were helping him evade capture, not moving bodies. So what does that say? That these other people were arrested. These people are arrested for helping him after the fact, after the crime was already committed. I don't know. I came into this show thinking to myself, Austin Drummond is a 100% murderer. And guess what? I don't think so anymore. He might be, but I don't know. You got to prove this to me. Let's keep going.
Right. You know what's interesting is you always say, zip it, right? Don't talk. You're on death row. Zip it, zip it, zip it. Well, in this case, it can't get much worse for you, right? Everyone thinks you did it. Unzip it and talk.
So why would those people save the baby? If someone else did this, why would they save the... Like, I understand why he would save the baby. He just told me that he was there for the birth of that child.
I think he did save the baby, and I think
So you think he's there during this mass murder?
I think that he was present. I think that he asked other people to help him because he got in so deep that there were 4 bodies.
But Vinny's saying if it wasn't him, why did the people that killed everybody else not kill the baby?
And why wouldn't they kill him? Like,
Why would you kill the baby? Think about it. Like, you're a cold-blooded assassin. That was an infant. What witness is that baby going to be? That baby is no witness. It's not possible for that baby to ever testify against anyone. So why would you kill the baby? I mean, just be unnecessary. Like everybody else, you got to kill because they're witnesses. They're adults or they're close to being an adult. They can speak. They can express themselves. They can say blonde hair, blue eyes, or black hair, dark skin. They could give you something. Baby can't give you nothing. All you got is a dead baby on your hands. And even the most cold-blooded murderers don't want to have a dead infant on their hands. It's one thing if you spraying your oppositions and a baby get hit by a stray bullet. It's another thing when you're staring at a baby in the eyes and then you decide to put a bullet in. Come on. Why would you do it? There's no point in doing it. So no, I don't see this. I don't see it.
I'm not following the bouncing ball from Josh Schiffer. Is anyone following Josh right now?
That's because
I'm buying half of it.
Yo, I'm with you, Josh. I'm with you.
I'm not
saying it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying Austin Drummond is innocent, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying I'm open-minded to hear more facts. We have court cases for a reason. Court cases for a reason. Austin Drummond will have the opportunity to defend himself, and the district attorney will have an opportunity to try and make their case. That's all I'm saying.
that's reasonable doubt.
Even a killer could say, okay, that's one too many, right? I mean, sooner or later, okay.
Okay,
Mom,
well, let's
grandma.
start first with who is responsible. You are saying his story tracks. Does that mean someone else is responsible?
I believe someone else could could be responsible.
Are you a defense lawyer?
I know.
So
it
if someone
surprises
else could be responsible, why is the baby alive?
because they
It's a
weren't going to
baby.
beat their cold, callous, horrible killers, but killing a baby's a little bit of a step
But it's
too
not.
far.
But it wouldn't be killing the baby. It would be letting the baby die.
You
Letting
know what
the-
evidence
which
there
is
is?
different.
The only evidence there is him saving a baby.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only direct
According
evidence.
to Josh's theory, he fought off the killers and saved the baby and also saved himself.
Well,
right?
I'm not saying
Well,
he
it could have been that. No. What you guys are not. No. What you guys are ignoring is that there's another possibility. The possibility is that the family was killed, and then he was told, "This is what you get when you double cross us. This is where they're at." He goes there. He sees that they are deceased, that they have been assassinated, but the baby's still alive. So then he takes the baby and saves the baby, drops the baby off, and then goes on a run because he's afraid that he's next. It could be that. It doesn't have to be any. It could just be that. They sent a message. They wanted him to know that the message was delivered. He goes, he sees that the message was delivered, but the baby's still alive, and then he saves the baby. Let's keep going.
necessarily had to fight. He was involved with some bad people, might have double dealt.
Is there any way he
dirty
could have
cops,
been
dirty
there
prosecutors?
at the time?
Absolutely. I
So
think
he could have saved the baby but not been responsible for the murders?
I think that he could have been.
Why not just
present.
name the
It doesn't-
murderers?
That's it. It doesn't track, Josh, because if he's going to talk, you say, not only did I not do it, here's who did do it.
Oh,
Go get him.
I think that that's where he's being smart, because guess what? He's been through the system enough times that
Yes.
he knows when to talk.
Exactly. There's no rush. They will have proffers. They'll have an opportunity. His defense attorney will get a package together and deliver it to the district attorney. He's a jailbird. He's not trying to get out tomorrow. He knows how to be patient. He knows how the system goes. He knows how deals are made. So you can't look at Austin Drummond like you look at the average Joe that gets picked up off the street and they're nervous just to be in a jail cell. Their goal is to get out of jail tomorrow. So they spilling the beans on everything. No, this is a professional criminal and a professional jailer. He knows how to be patient and wait. Let's keep going.
And when not to. And he just did drop a dime on some people and saved himself from a death penalty case by talking about these third parties.
There was no deal yet.
Oh,
that was just a reporter. That wasn't the
absolutely.
That wasn't the
But
prosecutor.
I'm just telling you, that's how you get the death penalty off the table, is by going out there and stopping
and
the
calling
ability.
Vinny Politan and saying, I want to tell you my story. You call the prosecutor.
That guy's not going to call a prosecutor. Prosecutor can't help him nearly as much as the court of public opinion can.
Well, Vinny,
and this
the-
guy's scared.
Now listen, Austin, Vinny Politan is a really good YouTuber and journalist. But you could call True Crime Strategic too, man. We open-minded over here. We want to hear what's going on, man. Come on.
Do they have your cell phone number? Because
They do not have my
I've
cell
got
phone.
it.
wanna give it out?
We
we
can-
can give it out. He can call you.
And Rue Bear Float makes a good point. He's in protected custody right now. He's actually safer in jail than he would be if he was on the outside, believe it or not. But let's keep going. Now, if he was in gen population, that's a different story. He's not safe. But he's in protected custody. He's safer in jail than he would be if he's on the outside. Let's keep going.
Harris working for Scripps News Group, so we're in good hands. So what do you think's going to happen next now? There's going to be this preliminary hearing. Do you think any part of the defense is raised at the preliminary hearing, or are we just going to hear about the forensic evidence or whatever else they have, whether it's video that ties this defendant? Will there be anything about the defense at this prelim?
He's not getting off the hook. It's going to keep going. Why would he say anything?
But will we even hear about it?
He's not going to get bond anyway because it's a murder case, so he's not going to say anything. It's a fishing expedition for the defense to get whatever they can get to prepare. The real thing that's going to help is later on, if there's documents or showing participation with undercover officers, these dirty cops that he's talking, who knows where that goes? We've seen some cases recently where law enforcement has done things that...
So Simone Miller says, it seems like something from Dexter and a mix of Minority Report, while these wackos are acting so nonchalant about it, trying to make some air of it. I hear you, but this is how we talk. This is how law enforcement talks about cases. This is how we brainstorm with district attorneys and stuff like that. This is how this stuff goes on behind the scenes because we're desensitized to it. Now, I'm not necessarily defending them, but I don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. They're talking about the case. They're not related to the victims. They're looking at it from an objective point of view. These are the type of conversations that are had behind closed doors with district attorneys and county attorneys and detectives and investigators. So if you don't like this, then you're definitely not going to like if you were a fly on the wall and saw how we commune about these cases. It's very cold. It's very just calculated. And it's very matter of fact. It's not, nobody's crying and hugging each other for the victims. That's not our job. That's the job of the family and the advocates. Our job is to get to the cold facts and just handle business. Just giving you some insight, Ms. Miller, on how things really work in the real world with law enforcement.
Shocks the conscious. That stuff happens. We're just beating up on this guy because he was the unsophisticated lower class individual who looks like he would be the killer.
If he's turning state's evidence, if he's going to turn somebody else in and throw somebody else under the bus, you do it. Right?
You don't do it when they're going to kill you right now.
We shall see.
that's a while
Great
ago.
job tonight. Randy Kessler, Erica Wilson, Josh Schiffer. Great to see you.
I don't know, man. Listen, this guy could very well be guilty, all right? But I just think that there's a possibility that he might have a defense. Somebody in the chat said that there's cell phone evidence. Well, you know, real assassins don't bring cell phones to jobs, to be honest with you. They don't. They have learned now that you could do a cell site dump and you could see every single cell phone that was in that area at a specific time. And so if you want to do a murder or something like that in a secluded wooded area, you're going to have a whole lot less cell phones out there than, let's say, you did that unaliving in the middle of downtown LA, right? So an investigator might have to sift through thousands of cell phones in downtown LA. They might just have to sift through a couple of dozen or a couple hundred if it's in a rural area like where this unaliving occurred. So, you know, if these assassins showed up and turned their phones off and then they come on the scene, they still have their phones, but the phones are off and they're on the scene handling their business, you're not going to find that on the cell tower. You're not going to find that. And if it's just like an Austin Drummond doing it, then I say, yeah, he's dumb. And that cell phone evidence is 100% spot on. When we're talking about assassins from vice lords and stuff like that, from these really organized organizations, they have specific people who have specific tasks. And those people really try and master their craft. I could see a vice lord assassin, just like a mafia assassin, just like a Mexican mafia assassin, the Italian mafia assassin and a Mexican mafia assassin. They're not going to be dumb and leave their cell phone on. They're not going to do it. They're not. So I'm just saying there's a possibility this guy might have a defense. But of course, you know, listen, if you ask me right now what I thought, I'd probably say the guy is guilty. If you ask me, I'd probably say the guy is guilty. But I'm leaving it open. Oh my God, I'm disappearing. You guys see me? Let me make this a little bit brighter. I'm over here disappearing in the background. Even I can see it. I'm leaving it open that he might have a defense. I'm looking forward to the trial to kind of figure out what's going on. All right, so let's go to the next video. This is very, very probative stuff, man. Extremely probative stuff here. All right, so let's go with this first, and then we're going down the line. It's a lot for us to cover. We're going down the line.
A rental car, cleaning supplies, and rides across West Tennessee. Those are just some of the ways investigators say friends of Austin Drummond helped him in the hours after he allegedly murdered 4 people in Lake County.
Fox 13's investigative reporter Kayla Solomon was in Lake County today for a hearing. She explains the role investigators say that each person played.
In about 2 hours of testimony from multiple investigators on this case, we learned new details on how the friends and acquaintances of Austin Drummond helped him both on July 29th and in the days following. In a preliminary hearing, investigators say Michelle Ovelis rented a car, a Nissan Rogue, in her name for Austin Drummond to use on July 29th.
Her boyfriend, Giovanni Thomas, was closely associated with Austin. And she was also closely associated with an individual named Tanaka Brown.
It's the same car investigators say was seen driving around West Tennessee, including leaving the scene of the crime in Lake County hours after the murders.
All right, hold on here. Do me a favor, guys. I didn't ask before. It's my first time actually asking during this live, and we usually ask a whole bunch. Please hit that like button. We have 350 people watching us. We are very grateful and humbled by the fact that you guys, all 350 of you guys, are willing to join us on this Sunday morning or morning. Afternoon close to evening. I've been up all day doing all kinds of things, so I apologize. We need that so we can get into the algorithm so that the show could grow. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We have less than 2,500 subs to get to 100,000 subscribers. So if you can please hit that like button so we can get into the algorithm and the show could be shown to a wider audience, we'd really appreciate it. All right, so let's get back into this. It's the only reason why we're asking, because YouTube tells us that if you don't ask, you shall not get. And it's the truth. As soon as I ask, we get 10, 15, 20 more likes because people forget. You guys are good people. You just forget sometimes. Let's keep going.
Investigators say phone records show Thomas and Brown were on a phone call just after 7 a.m. with Drummond. At the same time, Drummond was seen driving away in victim Matthew Wilson's truck.
During an interview with Mr. Brown, he informed me that whenever he was on that three-way call with Mr. Drummond, Geo Thomas, that Mr. Drummond had asked him for a ride, and he also told him to pick up cleaning supplies.
TBI Special Agent Justin Tubbs said Brown also helped Drummond get rid of Wilson's car in a ravine. Drummond's attorney asked if investigators knew why the victims, who drove separately in 3 different cars, were meeting on Carrington Road.
The introduction of contraband into the Northwest Correctional Facility.
Also in court, we learned that Caitlin Speed, the girlfriend of Drummond, as well as the sister of victim Courtney Rose, is pregnant with Drummond's child. Because of this, defense attorneys for Drummond say she's asking to have the no contact order currently in place dropped. But a judge decided to keep it because he says Speed could be called as a witness as this case plays.
Yo, this lady has such low self-esteem. She is so pathetic, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Maybe she's watching the show. Are you in the chat, Speed? Just say hi if you're in the chat. He allegedly, most likely, and probably killed her family. And she still wants permission to see him and talk to him, ladies and gentlemen. She still wants to see the guy. Like, yo, where the loyalty at, man? Because, like, why can't good guys find that kind of loyalty? If I like slaughter a whole bunch of people, I know my wife is gonna be like, yo, I don't know who you are, bro. You know what I mean? It's over. Like, she changing my kids' last names, the whole 9. Like, then you got some of these women out here, like, you could go drop a nuclear bomb on a park or playground with a whole bunch of kids and they still want to love you. This is crazy. He slaughtered her family. And she still wants contact with the dude. That is bananas, ladies and gentlemen. So apparently they were meeting so that they could introduce contraband into the jail. That's what the state is saying. This is interesting stuff. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's hop on this one right here. So now this is the preliminary hearing. I'm told by the research crew to skip ahead to the 53 mark because we're going to get some really probative stuff here. Let me just double check over here with my notes. And this is probative stuff about the victims and where they were found and all that good stuff. All right, so let's keep going.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, the preliminary is like 2 hours and 10 minutes, so that's why we're skipping ahead. You guys could go ahead and watch the whole thing for yourself, but I don't think that I want to do a 4-hour show to cover the entire preliminary hearing. Let's keep going.
Would you state your name, please?
Justin Tubbs.
And Special Agent Tubbs, where do you work, sir?
With the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
And how long have you worked there?
I've been there since 2018.
And do you recall, were you on call or were you called on the evening of July 29th, 2025?
I was called, yes.
Do you know what the purpose of that call was?
Lake County Sheriff's Department had been called to an area out by the prison where 2 vehicles I had received emails about the child that was missing that morning or that afternoon.
From Dyer County?
From Dyer County. and the parents of the child, plus the grandmother and the uncle of the child. So whenever I was called, I was told their vehicles and the deceased victims had been found out at the end of Carrington Road.
Okay. Did you go to that scene?
I did.
Once you got to that scene, what did you see?
There were members of not only the Dyer County Sheriff's Department, Lake County Sheriff's Department, Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, because it was on their land. But there was also some special agents from the TBI who had also been called to come out and assist me. Once we got out there, I saw the black Charger that was known to be driven by Braden Williams, 15-year-old child, and a white Traverse that was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Was anyone inside the vehicles?
They were not.
Okay. What did you do after locating those vehicles?
We had Deputy Hunter Brady walk us around the scene as to what he had discovered whenever he first came upon the scene. And he showed us inside of the white Traverse, there was a red brownish stains substances that are consistent with what I know to be blood. And then he showed us...
Let me ask you this. Do you know who that white Traverse belonged to?
It was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And if you drive down Carrington Road, to the left where it kind of comes to a dead end, it's almost like a parking lot where these vehicles were parked. Behind that is whenever you start walking into the woods, same as what the deputy before was talking about. If you cross the road, you have wooded area in front of you. So the deputy took us to the back of the parking lot and showed us where Braden Williams and Miss Courtney Rose were laying. They were covered with what looked like to be camouflage burlap, which is commonly used with hunting that I know of. And then he walked us in front of the parking lot across the road where the bodies of Adriana Williams and Matthew Wilson were at, and they were also covered with the same type of burlap.
Were you able to, were they all four deceased at the time that you arrived?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to determine the cause of death at that time? Or what, not a medical cause, but what appeared to be?
The injuries were consistent with gunshot wounds that all four victims had.
Were you able to determine how many gunshot wounds there were?
Not at the time.
Were you able to at a later time?
Yes, whenever the medical examiner out of Nashville called me with preliminary findings, he informed me of how many wounds and type of wounds that each victim had.
What type of wounds did Courtney Rose have?
She had been shot in the head.
How many times?
At least once that I remember.
Okay. What about Braden Williams?
He had been shot in the back of the head.
Executed. All of them executed.
Adriana Williams.
She had also been shot in the head.
And what about Matthew Wilson?
Mr. Wilson had been shot in multiple places in his body for approximately 11 times.
Wow.
I gotta get out of here.
He's probably the one that put up a fight. That's why he got shot so many times. The other ones was business. It was personal, but it was business. Execution, clean shoot, one bullet, done. That guy probably decided to put up a fight, and that's why he got shot multiple times.
Please. Please. Please help me. Please.
I guess she's running out because she's too emotional. Let's listen to that again.
What did you do after locating those vehicles?
We had Deputy Hunter Brady walk us around the scene as to what he had discovered whenever he first came upon the scene. And he showed us inside of the white Traverse, there was a red brownish stains substances that are consistent with what I know to be blood. And then he showed us...
Let me ask you this. Do you know who that white Traverse belonged to?
It was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And if you drive down Carrington Road, to the left where it kind of comes to a dead end, it's almost like a parking lot where these vehicles were parked. Behind that is whenever you start walking into the woods, same as what the deputy before was talking about. If you cross the road, you have wooded area in front of you. So the deputy took us to the back of the parking lot and showed us where Braden Williams and Miss Courtney Rose were laying. They were covered with what looked like to be camouflage burlap, which is commonly used with hunting that I know of. And then he walked us in front of the parking lot across the road where the bodies of Adriana Williams and Matthew Wilson were at, and they were also covered with the same type of burlap.
Were you able to, were they all four deceased?
They were.
That you arrived?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to determine the cause of death at that time? Or
They-
what, not a medical cause, but what appeared to be?
The injuries were consistent with gunshot wounds that all four victims had.
Were you able to determine how many gunshot wounds there were?
Not at the time.
Were you able to at a later time?
Yes, whenever the medical examiner out of Nashville called me with preliminary findings, he informed me of how many wounds and type of wounds that each victim had.
What type of wounds did Courtney Rose have?
She had been shot in the head.
How many times?
At least once that I remember.
Okay. What about Braden Williams?
He had been shot in the back of the head.
What about Adriana Williams?
She had also been shot in the head.
And what about Matthew Wilson?
Mr. Wilson had been shot in multiple places in his body for approximately 11 times.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Please. Please. Please help me. Please.
Damn.
Point now.
Yeah, man.
Was there a, you had said earlier that there was an infant.
People are saying that, you know, in the chat, these what the person just said. What a huge loss for the families. And, you know, in all honesty, all of that is because of this person here. It's all her fault. I don't care. This is a beast. A beast is going to be a beast. All right, you put a lion is a lion. You put a lion in a lion's den with a lamb. When that lion gets hungry, it's going to eat the lamb. If it's not hungry, it's going to let the lamb walk around, doing what lambs do. The moment the lion gets hungry, the lion is going to eat the lamb. You can't get mad at a lion for being a lion. That's what lions do. She is the one who took the oath. She is the oath breaker. She's the one who took the oath to protect and serve and not stoop an inmate. She's the one who betrayed her badge, and this is what you get. That's why you had a young man by the name of Strategic who's living in the hood in the projects, started working for corrections, and the state of New York was willing to put me in a position where I would go after people like her and pay me 6 figures for it. That's how important it was. Because the state of New York and every single state in America, because there's something called a Prison Rape Elimination Act, PREA. That is a federal standard that mandates every single jail, prison, lockup in America to investigate these allegations and to investigate them thoroughly and to invest money and resources in investigating them, because even the federal government knows that when you leave these type of relationships unchecked, people get hurt. And hence, the state of New York started me out in my career and made me find my calling, which is investigations, because it was imperative to get oath breakers like her. Her whole family is dead because of her. So that lady that walked out of that courtroom, God bless her soul, I feel so sorry for her, crying because the news of how these people was executed was read out in court. Make sure you know who to blame. Don't just blame the lion. Don't blame the monster for being a monster. Blame the person who's supposed to know better. This guy right here, Austin Drummond, he's a beast. He's been in jail since he was 16 years old. All he knows is chaos and violence. She's the one who's supposed to know better. She left her baby daddy of her 5-year-old. She decided to break her oath. She decided to stoop the inmate. She decided to bring him into her real world when he came out of jail. They're dead because of her. Let's keep going.
That has been found in Dyer County.
Yes, sir.
I assume, did you find any evidence of an infant that may have been there?
I didn't see any evidence in the vehicle at the time. Whenever we realized the totality of the scene, myself and my immediate supervisor that was on the scene, we decided to call the Violent Crime Response Team that TBI has, and we stepped back away from the scene and secured it until they got there.
And after they got there,
allegedly dead because of her. I stand corrected. They're allegedly, in my opinion, without any evidence, just my opinion, are dead because of her. Let's keep going.
and they processed the scene, did you continue with the investigation?
We did. We set up a command post away from the crime scene at the Old National Guard Armory here in Tiptonville.
Were you eventually able to develop a suspect in these homicides?
We were a person of interest, yes.
And who was that?
Mr. Austin Drummond.
Did you see him in court today?
I do.
You identify him?
He's a gentleman sitting at the defense table in the inmate uniform.
Okay. After getting there, you said that there were 2 vehicles there. Did you get information that there may have been a 3rd vehicle?
Yes.
Now, tell me about that.
We were told by Miss Kim Hamill, which is Mr. Wilson's mother, that he drove a older model F-150.
Okay. You know what color it was?
It was white with a red stripe down the side of it.
Was that vehicle out there that day?
It was not.
Did you think that maybe that was something you needed to be looking for?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did you do?
Chief Joe England with the Tiptonville Police Department, before we got to Tiptonville, had already been looking at video from the Tiptonville Fire Department. There's a camera there, and he had found video of the victims arriving that morning, passing the fire department, driving north out towards Carrington Road, and then I believe there was video of the truck returning a few minutes later, about an hour or so later.
Okay. And you said that was footage from the Tiptonville Fire Department?
Correct.
Okay. Did you review that footage yourself?
I did not. I mean, I did look at pictures that Chief
At
was
a later
sending us.
time.
Correct. We obtained the entire video. We sent an agent to Tiptonville to obtain video not only from the fire department and other places of interest along Highway 78.
One thing that we usually look at on security cameras is the date and time.
Correct.
Did you check that on these cameras?
On the fire department camera, I did ask the chief to check what the time on the timestamp was on the camera footage versus the real time.
Okay. And was it accurate?
It was not.
Okay. What about how far off was it, just approximately?
Approximately 53 minutes.
53 minutes. Okay. Was the date correct?
Yes.
All right. Maybe work here. I'm going to show you a video on the screen there.
All right. Before they play that video, I just want to let you guys know I just dropped 5 free gift memberships to the Patreon in the chat. Whoever's the first 5 people to click that link, you will get an entire month free for the Patreon. So go ahead, jump on it.
And I'm just going to go ahead and move over to the point that we're interested in.
I'll give you one better. If we get those likes up to 300, we'll drop another 5 free gift memberships. So 300, I might just drop 5 free gift memberships to the membership on YouTube or to the Patreon. We'll see which one. But either way, let's get it up to 300, and let's see which one you guys get. Either way, it's free. And it's for you.
General, while you're pulling that up, I want to ask one question. You're saying, I just heard a moment ago, you said on the time period right there, which is marked in the right-hand corner of the screen, the bottom right-hand corner, that is actually, if it's saying 5:35, it's actually 53 minutes ahead in time. Is that what you're saying?
All right, so this is a little insight into investigators. One of the most important things that we do when we collect video is that you have to verify the accuracy of the time of the video, because it's so important, because you don't want to not know. And if you don't know, you can say so. You're not always going to know. If you don't know, you can say so. But you don't want your victim saying that it happened at this time, and then you're showing a video that's showing a different time, and I was calling to question the accuracy of your video. A lot of times video is not accurate. People will set the time of their video when they first get their system, then they'll get power outages, they'll turn the system on for off for maintenance, for upgrades, for whatever, and then they won't fix the time. So as time goes by, that video goes further and further and further behind, to sometimes where the video is showing a date that's not even the correct date. So the first thing you do when you're collecting time, a video, is you check the time, and then you'll, like, we have department cell phones in my department. I will check the time of my department cell phone, and then I'll check the time of the video. If the time is accurate, in my notes, I will say that at this date and time, I collected video at this location. I'd also note who is the custodian of the video, who is the person who's in charge of maintaining that video, so that they can testify during hearings as to the veracity of the video and how the video was collected and how it was handed off to me. And then so I'd say at this day and time, I collected video at this location. The custodian of the video is Mr. or Mrs. such and such. And I checked the date and time of the video against my department cell phone, and I'm determining that the video and the time is accurate to the cell phone. That's what I put. Now, if it's off, I'd say my department cell phone time was X, Y, and Z, and the video time is off by this amount of time, and it shows this exact date and time. Whatever. I'm sorry, word salad. It is what it is. You guys get the point. That's what they're doing right now. They're talking about the accuracy of the time. Very, very, such a small thing is so very important in a criminal court case.
5:35 is going to be get at 53 minutes. So the time that's on there is 53 minutes slow.
Okay, so it should be 6:28 or 6 somewhere around 6. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make sure of that. Thank you.
Okay, I want you to look at this camera at the fire department. Tell me if you can tell me what these. I'm sorry. Let me back up just a second. You recognize that white vehicle?
It appears to be the white Traverse of Miss Courtney Rose.
In what direction is that vehicle traveling?
It is traveling north.
And what, in relation to the fire department, where is the crime scene?
If you're looking at the road, the direction that the car is traveling is the direction of Carrington Road.
Okay. So that car will be traveling in the direction of the crime scene?
Correct.
Okay.
Starting on.
You recognize that vehicle?
It appears to be the vehicle that Mr. Braden Williams would have been driving.
Okay. And this would have been, since the time is off, approximately 6:28, somewhere around that time?
Correct.
All right, just a few more minutes and we're going to move on, guys. All right, so we're going to the nitty gritty of it. I want to move on to other things. All right, so this is the baby shower. Once again, big shout out to the research crew. Got us the baby shower. We had to pause it because it has music, and we will get copyright strike by YouTube if we're playing music. So this is it muted. All right. This is like their announcement. A little one is on the way. Girl or boy? It's a boy. It's a little cutesy thing that the Oathbreaker made. We are 7 months pregnant now. I don't know how proud you could be to be bringing into the world a progeny of a demon, But, you know, every child is innocent and pure. So hopefully this child will be the polar opposite of their father, and they will grow up to benefit society in beautiful ways. But I mean, in my opinion, this young one is already in an uphill battle, not because of their father, because their father is going to be incarcerated, but because of the mother they're being birthed to. This woman has no integrity, no loyalty apparently on her job or in her personal life. And I hope that she does not make this young one's life more difficult than it's going to be growing up with a father who's going to be incarcerated most likely for the rest of their life. Let's keep going. So when's the due date? Due date is October 20th, 2025. So it's almost here. I mean, you know, I'll go and be there with you and film it. Just give me an invitation. I'll come and film you giving birth. Come on. I'm just joking. I'm being a douche. Let's keep going. All right. It says Caitlin Speed added 63 photos and 18 videos with Austin. She was so into this guy. Drummond finally getting around for posting our Gatlinburg pictures. Much needed family time. She was all in, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and I don't forget to check out pics from the family vacation. She was all in with this guy. 1,000%. She was all in, and then he slaughtered your family, allegedly. Or if he's not the one who did it, he exposed your family to all of these big-time gangsters who ended up slaughtering the family anyway. Either way, the family slaughtered. Let's keep going.
Off your news leader at 4, a judge decides the case against a man accused in a quadruple homicide, and it's moving forward. Austin Drummond is accused of killing 4 members of a family in West Tennessee and abandoning a baby of 2 of the victims. Thank you for joining us. I'm April Thompson.
I'm Alex Coleman. WREG's Raven Copeland has been in court in Lake County, Tennessee all day. And Raven, a lot of information coming out this afternoon, right?
Yeah, that's right, April and Alex. Today, the prosecution and the 4 witnesses that they called to the stand gave a timeline of what occurred before and after July 29th. District Attorney Danny Goodman presented surveillance video that showed the victims driving to Carrington Road that morning before the murders occurred. Now, this is what we also heard from the court hearing today. Courtney Rose was in a Chevy Traverse and Braden Williams was traveling in a Dodge Charger, while Adriana Williams and James Wilson were in a Ford F-150.
So they all came in separate cars. Big shout out to Nina Jewell, the 99-cent super chat. Big shout out to Idiocracy 101, member for 2 months of the patrol level, says, check and see your like button works. Please do hit that like button. When we get to 300, we're definitely going to drop 5 more free gift memberships on a Patreon or YouTube. We'll figure out which one we want to do. Borden Girl, Borden Girl, 1978 is now a patrol member. Welcome to the family. Jackie E84 is also a recruit member. Welcome to the family. We appreciate you. We welcome both of you with open arms. Thank you for supporting the channel. And Jackie E84 gave us a $2 super chat. Says, thank you for everything you do, Strategic. Thank you for supporting the channel and believing in our mission to do what, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to start saying that until people get it through their heads and their skulls, to give a voice to the voiceless. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting our mission. And Nina Drew with another super chat, 99-cent super chat or super sticker with a smiley face and a winky wink. Well, I'm winking right back at you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You guys are amazing. Let's jump back into it.
Prosecution says it appears that the victims were called to that location for some sort of meeting. Based on cell phone data, investigators believe the victims were killed before or after 7 a.m. on July 29th. Now, one of the heartbreaking details that we learned today were their causes of death. Each victim was shot. However, investigators say 21-year-old Matthew Wilson was shot multiple times. After the murders occurred, the prosecution says Drummond called Giovanni Thomas, who then included Tanaka Brown on the call. Now, they are charged as accessories in this case. After that call, Drummond's accused of going back and forth to Dyersburg and Jackson with the baby of 2 of the victims before he allegedly dropped the child off at a Dyer County home. Now, again, the case for Austin Drummond will move forward. His next court hearing is November 10th at 1 p.m. Now, ahead at 5, I'll tell you how cell phone evidence and other data and evidence that were collected led to Drummond's arrest. Reporting live from Lake County, Tennessee, for your news leader, Raven Copeland, WREG News Channel 3.
Very interesting stuff. That kind of sums up what we were watching. Very probative things, man. I really appreciate the hard work of the research crew. I can't stop thanking these guys for really elevating our channel to the next level. We definitely want to go to the next level. We want to be a force in true crime. We never want to forget where we come from. We will always pay homage to the people who came before us, the Plunders, the Grizzlies, the Ickmel, the Pascals, the people who've been out here for a while, stomping their feet, letting their voices be heard and giving a voice to the voiceless. But we want to be a part of that community. We want to complement that community with our expertise as an active duty detective who investigates X crimes. So we can't do that without your support. So please always remember, we will never stop being humble, and we will never ever stop fighting for the voiceless. But we need you to support us by hitting that like button and getting us into that algorithm. And we need people like members of the research crew who believe in our mission to assist us on this journey, because this can't be a one-man show. You can't do this show without the research crew, without the Akis, and without the Erica Browns, and and the Erica B's, and all the people who support us and show us love. These are the people who help keep this channel going, and we do 100% appreciate you. And one way you guys could show those folks love is by supporting that coffee up there, because that's what helps take care of the people who show love to this channel and donate their time to this channel. So please do consider giving coffee to the people who keeps this mission going. Big shout out. We're at 301 right now. My Wrench is the 301st person. So My Wrench, we're going to just drop some free membership, something. Maybe I'm going to give the Patreon. Maybe I give the membership. I don't know. All right. But let's jump into this. All right. Let's jump into this. I want to play this one right here. Law and crime. Let's do it.
The man accused of executing 4 family members before going on a week-long manhunt in Tennessee was back in court, and we learned some shocking new information about Austin Drummond.
Approximately 11 times.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Please. Please. Please help me. Please.
The courtroom outburst after new details came out about the murders. We're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Austin Drummond, since being arrested, has tried to argue that he's not the person who executed 4 members of his girlfriend's family in rural Tennessee at the end of July, then going on a week-long manhunt and abandoning a baby on a stranger's front lawn. Here's video of Drummond entering.
Real quick, guys. I just got a generator for a whole home backup. Basically, I got a portable generator, inverter, just in case there's an emergency, a storm, whatever. And I've been running it for the last few hours, just breaking it in. I tried to call mommy up to see if she could go turn off the generator, but she's not picking up her phone. So I need to go turn that generator on because it's just been running for the last few hours, which is something you should do. You should always break in a generator. So I'm telling you guys this because I don't like reacting to people's content and not being in the picture. I think it's disrespectful. It's almost like you're just playing their content. So I'm going to run upstairs. I'm going to go off screen real quick, run upstairs, turn off the generator, and then I'm going to come back down. So guys, I'll be right back. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you.
In the courtroom in Lake
and
County.
I appreciate your understanding as well. Big shout out to Law and Crime. They're going to do a really good job. And just listen, and we'll be right back.
Tennessee for a probable cause hearing on Thursday. Drummond is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, among other charges. The state has said they're going for the death penalty in this case. 5 members of law enforcement laid out evidence in this hearing, and during the hearing, Drummond sat there showing little emotion. Now, before I get into the difficult moment I showed you there at the top, it caused an outburst in the courtroom. Let me remind you how we got here. Let's go back to July 29th in Dyer County, Tennessee, in the western part of the state. This began for law enforcement when they received a 911 call from a homeowner who said he found a baby on his front lawn. That child's safe. The baby was actually still in her car seat, and she was found around 3 o'clock in the afternoon that day. It wasn't until 5 hours later that law enforcement found 4 bodies down a wooded road in Lake County, Tennessee, about 45 minutes north of where the baby was found. This is video per journalist Burton Staggs of the scene. The bodies of Courtney Rose, Matthew Wilson, Adriana Williams, and Braden Williams were all found. They were shot And I'll get more into the details related to that we learned in this hearing in just a moment. Braden, who you see at the bottom there, was just 15 years old. He was the uncle of the baby found in the front yard. The parents of the baby, they were also found dead, Matthew Wilson and Adriana Williams. Courtney Rose was the maternal grandmother of that child. She too was dead. Not long after that discovery, police say they had a suspect, and his name was Austin Drummond. He was a convicted felon who was considered armed and dangerous. Now, we learned a lot about how law enforcement traced their case to Drummond in this hearing, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Drummond, you might remember, was on the run for roughly a week, and this put Tennessee and even surrounding states on edge, especially after this video came to light of him armed with a gun in the middle of the night in Jackson, Tennessee, trying to get into a church. Now, it was on Tuesday, August 6th in the morning. There was a crew working on a home in Jackson, Tennessee, and they spotted Austin Drummond in the woods. Drummond wasn't armed at the time he was arrested. He has been in custody since his arrest, and this week we saw him in court once again, in person for a preliminary hearing, and this is how the judge set the stage in the courtroom.
Just to go over with everyone, we're going to have some statements and some evidence that may be entered today that may be difficult to hear, may be upsetting to hear. If at any time you feel that you cannot sit and listen to the proceedings, I would ask that you step outside. If anyone does have to step outside, that's fine. I don't mind that. If a disruption is made, then you will be removed from the courtroom. And if further disruptions are made, the court has the right to hold you in contempt of court, or the sheriff's office has the right to issue charges for disorderly conduct. I don't want to see that happen.
5 members of law enforcement took the stand during this hearing. They range from a local park ranger to a special agent with the FBI. Investigators showed surveillance video of multiple vehicles that they traced to the victims and the crime scene, and how it pieced together a timeline for these murders.
We worked off a theory due to many of the victims arriving at the scene where they were murdered at various times, right? So they didn't all just appear there together.
Law enforcement also analyzed the cell phone data of the people involved to put together a timeline.
Another thing that we do when we're working these investigations is try to determine when the victims' phones stop taking calls, right? We're trying to work on a timeline. We're trying to narrow everything down so that our cell phone data is strong as possible. We noticed from the 4 victims' phones that none of the victims answered a call or made a call after 7:01 a.m.
Part of the reason law enforcement focused on Drummond was because they identified a rental car they say that someone rented for Austin Drummond.
Due to some good work performed previously, there was a Nissan Rogue that had been identified that had been rented in Jackson, Tennessee the day before and picked up on the morning of the homicide. This vehicle was captured on license plate readers going northbound towards the crime scene and then going southbound away from the crime scene at a time later in the afternoon. In addition, there was some identification of the vehicle from a park ranger being seen at the location. The investigative team followed up with the rental agreement and with Enterprise Rental Car to learn about the who had rented this vehicle, and identified a Michelle Ovelis, I may not pronounce the last name correctly, Ovelis, as being the renter. As that investigation continued, she had identified that the vehicle had been given to Austin Drummond and rented on Austin Drummond's behalf.
Okay. And did she have any connection to the defendant, Mr. Drummond?
Her boyfriend, Giovante Thomas, was closely associated with Austin, and she was also closely associated with an individual named Tanaka Brown. Our phone toll analysis identified that at 7:25, as that number 731-345-7426 was leaving the crime scene, it was jumping on a 3-way conference call with Tanaka Brown and Giovante Thomas.
All right, real quick. I just put a poll in the chat because you guys, of course, deserve that free gift membership, 5 of them. So I don't know. You either could get YouTube membership or Patreon. We put a poll in. Which one do you guys want? You guys want me to drop a YouTube membership or a Patreon membership? Go ahead and vote in that poll. In a couple minutes, we're going to end that poll, and whoever wins is what I'm going to put out there.
Okay. And then what happened next?
So obviously at this point we were extremely interested in just learning everything we can about the user of this telephone number. We learned that upon departing the crime scene, it traveled to an area in Dyersburg commonly known as Bikini Bottoms. Bikini Bottoms used to be like an off-road recreation vehicle area for ATVs and such. When the phone arrived, and a point of interest, as this phone is traveling south towards Bikini Bottom, one of the victim's phones is traveling in concert with that phone, so that was very interesting to us as well. Both of those phones got to the Bikini Bottom area, and the phone 731-345-7426 arrived at Bikini Bottom at approximately 7:44 a.m. and stayed in the area to approximately 9:04 a.m. Based on what we do with violent crime investigations and the knowledge base that we have, we theorize that something as far as getting rid of evidence or weapons or something had happened at that Bikini Bottom area.
And in fact, did it?
It did. There was, based on the phone data and the investigation in whole, search parties were organized to go to Bikini Bottom. On the day that these phone tolls were being worked, they initially found a Tennessee driver's license for Matthew Wilson, and the next day we found Mr. Wilson's vehicle down a ravine there at Bikini Bottom.
And that's the late 80s F-150 truck?
Yes, sir.
Did 7426 stay at Bikini Bottom?
It stayed there till about 9:04 a.m., and then it began a southeastwardly travel towards Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. And did it eventually reach Jackson?
It did.
Do you know what time?
I'll refer to my notes for a more specific time. We saw it arriving in the Jackson, Tennessee area at approximately 10:04 a.m.
And where did the phone go while it was in Jackson?
The phone first travels to an area consistent with the Clarion Hotel in Jackson, Tennessee. It then moves towards the Cherry Grove Apartments, and then eventually towards back up towards Dyersburg.
Okay. Let's stay in Jackson for a minute. Was there any significance to the Clarion Hotel?
Through the investigation, the Clarion was identified as a place where Austin Drummond resided regularly and potentially used as a place to organize criminal activity.
And was his vehicle at the Clarion?
The information from the investigation is that his personal vehicle, the Audi, was at the Clarion. Mr. Tanaka Brown, who picked him up at Bikini Bottom, drove him back to his vehicle at the Clarion, and then followed him to Cherry Grove to depart, to leave the Audi sedan.
Okay. Was there any significance to the Cherry Grove Apartments?
Cherry Grove Apartments is where Mr. Drummond's girlfriend, Caitlin Speed, resided. The investigation revealed that when his vehicle was departed at the Cherry Grove apartment complex, that he ascertained some cleaning style brushes at the apartment.
Okay. And then you said after that it starts moving back north towards Dyersburg?
There's a little time with it still being in Jackson, but by 11:55 a.m., the phone began a northwestern travel towards Bells, Tennessee.
And then it reaches Dyersburg?
We have the phone in conjunction with the license plate readers being in Dyersburg at 12:39 p.m. and by 1:04 p.m. being back north of Tiptonville near the crime scene.
So this is the first time that we're hearing law enforcement lay out what they say was the help that Austin Drummond allegedly received after the murders, even going on a three-way call right after those murders allegedly happened with people who now, by the way, are facing charges because of it. We have been following this story from the very beginning, and one of the tools that we use to help us learn more about Austin Drummond as soon as he was named as a person of interest is truthfinder.com. At Law and Crime, we partner with Truthfinder, and we use it to get details on the people involved in our stories. But even if you don't work in true crime, it can be a great resource to give you some peace of mind, as it is one of the largest public record search services in the United States. And with the paid subscription service, you get access to unlimited reports about almost anyone. And right now, you can get 50% off your first month of confidential background reports. Just go to truthfinder.com/OTC. The next witness was an investigator with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. This is the agent who is leading this case, and this is where the testimony in the courtroom got graphic, especially as he was explaining what he saw when he arrived on the crime scene in Lake County that day.
Once we got out there, I saw the black Charger that was known to be driven by Braden Williams, 15-year-old child, and a white Traverse that was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Was anyone inside the vehicles?
They were not.
Okay. What did you do after locating those vehicles?
We had Deputy Hunter Brady walk us around the scene as to what he had discovered whenever he first came upon the scene, and he showed us inside of the white Traverse there was a red brownish stains substances that are consistent with what I know to be blood. And then he showed us.
Let me ask you this. Do you know who that white Traverse belonged to?
It was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Okay. All right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And if you drive down Carrington Road, to the left where it kind of comes to a dead end, it's almost like a parking lot where these vehicles were parked. Behind that is whenever you start walking into the woods, same as what the deputy before was talking about. If you cross the road, you have wooded area in front of you. So the deputy took us to the back of the parking lot and showed us where Braden Williams and Miss Courtney Rose were laying. They were covered with what looked like to be camouflage burlap, which is commonly used with hunting that I know of. And then he walked us in front of the parking lot across the road where the bodies of Adriana Williams and Matthew Wilson were at, and they were also covered with the same type of burlap.
Were you able to? Were they all four deceased?
They were.
That you arrived.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to determine the cause of death at that time? Or
They,
what? Not a medical cause, but what appeared to be.
the injuries were consistent with gunshot wounds that all four victims had.
Were you able to determine how many gunshot wounds there were?
Not at the time.
Were you able to at a later time?
Yes, whenever the medical examiner out of Nashville called me with preliminary findings, he informed me of how many wounds and type of wounds that each victim had.
What type of wounds did Courtney Rose have?
She had been shot in the head.
How many times?
At least once that I remember.
Okay. What about Braden Williams?
All right, so it looks like the YouTube membership won. So I'm going to end that poll. 100 people participated. We'll drop 5 gift memberships. Guys, in the time it takes me to set up this gift membership, because I have to do it on my cell phone, I can't do it on this control center that I have. Please do make sure that in your settings, you have it selected that you're willing to accept gift memberships. Many people don't know that you have to do that. It's not automatic. So you have to be set up that you're willing to accept gift memberships. And if you are, then when I drop a gift membership, you have a chance, a random chance of getting a gift membership. All right, so it's going to take me a couple minutes to do that. This is your time to set that up in your settings. All right, let's keep going. And please make sure you hit that like button for everybody who's joining us right now. Maybe the algorithm just threw me in your feed. This is a really good show. I think it's a good show. You don't have to take my word for it. You can ask the people in the chat. We give a voice to the voiceless here, and I'm an active duty detective. Yes, I am. So if you want to hear true crime from a detective's perspective, who's still working, still in the game, had to get permission from the job to sit here and talk to you guys. Couldn't just come here. All right. My department knows I'm here. I'm active duty. I'm currently working cases. If you want to hear my perspective on these true crime cases, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, support the channel. All right, let's do it.
Been shot in the back of the head.
What about Adriana Williams?
She had also been shot in the head.
And what about Matthew Wilson?
Mr. Wilson had been shot in multiple places in his body for approximately 11 times.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Please. Please. Please help me. Please.
At that moment, there was a loved one in the courtroom who left. That testimony, as you can imagine, just too graphic to hear. The agent then got into how they identified Drummond as their suspect.
Were you eventually able to develop a suspect in these homicides?
We were a person of interest, yes.
And who was that?
Mr. Austin Drummond.
Did you see him in the courtroom today?
I do.
You identified him?
He's a gentleman sitting at the defense table in the inmate uniform.
Okay. After getting there, you said that there were 2 vehicles there. Did you get information that there may have been a 3rd vehicle?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Drummond did not show emotion during this hearing. One of the key pieces of evidence in this case is a cell phone that victim Braden Williams, the 15-year-old, purchased at Walmart the day before his murder.
Were you able to determine where the phone came from?
The phone in question that Agent Scott Wilson. Dyer County Sheriff's Department had, whenever they gathered the video from Walmart the night before on the 28th, they also got a receipt from Walmart showing that a purchase by the victims of the burlap, the camouflage burlap, or similar camouflage burlap that was at the crime scene, along with the cell phone.
Sorry, General. Do you recognize that?
This is the receipt I've seen, correct?
Drummond recently made a jailhouse phone call to a reporter with WTVF-TV in Nashville, and he claimed on that call that he was actually an informant working for law enforcement when he was in prison. That has not been proved. He had served a decade in prison on an aggravated assault conviction, and he claimed that he was helping law enforcement from the inside track down drugs and gang members in prison.
And I was afraid that because I was an informant, things would go wrong. Things would happen to me.
Not only is that a claim that, again, has not been proved, he also, in that phone call, did admit that he was on scene for those murders, and that could be a big blow for the defense. Now, this hearing lasts after those 5 agents gave testimony. This is what Drummond's defense attorney asked of the case agent from the TBI.
Did you have any involvement in processing the scene?
I did not.
All right. Do you recall how many were any shell cases recovered?
There was.
Do you recall how many?
I did not. I was not told the number.
Do you know what type of cases were recovered?
So this is an area where people go out and target practice, from what I was told. I'm not from Lake County. There were a few different kinds of calibers out there. The Violent Crime Response Team leader, Special Agent Forensic Scientist Julian Conyers, I had a conversation with him, and he said the majority of the cartridge casings that was around the lot.
I was doing a few things in the background. Cynthia Ferns, who's a member of our channel, says, at Strategic, could that be true? Do they really do that? I don't know what you're talking about. Just expand on that question, and Aki will pin your post, or one of the moderators will pin your post, and I'll answer it. So just give us a little bit more, Cynthia.
Rogue for 45 caliber.
But there were multiple shell casings, multiple types of shell casings.
Multiple calibers of shell casings, correct. Cartridge casings.
Now, did you process the scene at all yourself?
I did not. We stepped back and called them.
Do they take photos, that sort of thing?
They take photos, they take measurements, they collect evidence,
Any video obtained?
They usually do. I'm not sure on this one. So whenever they finish processing and they do all their evidence.
Yo, big shout out to Lasagna with 1 gift membership. Thank you so much, Lasagna.
That's all that. They will create what they call a crime scene investigation report with the photos and everything. That's still in the process.
That's not completed.
Last I checked this week, it was not completed yet.
Typically, TBI agents don't carry body cams like that. Did you have a body cam?
I did not.
So you could see the defense trying to poke a couple holes in the evidence that was.
So Cynthia asks, do they use informants in prison? They absolutely do. They use informants everywhere in every facet of law enforcement. So yes, the answer is yes, they do use informants, and it's possible that Austin was an informant. Let's keep going.
Presented during this hearing, but the judge said that there was enough probable cause for this case to move forward. In Tennessee, now it goes to a grand jury. And an interesting development that came out of this hearing as well was Drummond's defense attorney asking to lift a restraining order that is in place against Drummond's girlfriend. She is pregnant with Drummond's child. Her name is Caitlin Speed, and she is victim Courtney Rose's sister. The judge did rule against changing the
oath breaker. She is the oath breaker.
The order because Speed will likely be a witness in this case. Now, we wait and see what the grand jury decides. That will do it for On the Case.
All right, big shout out to Law and Crime. We appreciate you. I'm sorry I paid a little bit more of that I wanted to. I ended up playing the entire segment. But, you know, Law and Crime is cool. They're cool. They're cool. We try not to abuse other creators, whether they're big corporations or small creators. We try not to abuse them and play too much of their product. But this one, we really wanted to get their perspective, and we really want to nail it down for you, the audience, as to what's happening in this case. Big shout out to allegedly Joy Miller with a $49 super sticker that says, "Good job, appreciate you." You are appreciated. Doodle Mom 22 is also now a recruit member. Welcome to the family. We appreciate you being a paid member. For all the people who got gift memberships, your memberships will run out in 30 days. If you are able to, and if you feel like it's worth it, we'd love to see you continue your membership and continue to be members of True Crime with Strategic's YouTube family. You guys are amazing. We're wrapping it up now, ladies and gentlemen. We gave you an hour and 25-minute show, man. You get some long shows here with True Crime Strategic, man. Wow. We try and give you value for your time, man. Value for your time. And hopefully the things that we've discussed today on this channel has been probative to you. Give a little bit insight of how things work on the back end from a detective's point of view. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you immensely. Big shout out to all of the members who joined us today. Big shout out to all of the moderators. Please consider giving some coffee to support the channel. Moderators do a great job. And also the research crew, which is a motley crew of amazing people who take time out of their busy lives to assist us on this channel and make sure you guys get a quality experience when you're here on True Crime with Strategic. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me get that outro queued up. In fact, let me get first of all, before we even get to the outro, let's do it right. Let's get Law and Crime from behind me. And let's get this dude, this ugly mug of this dude over here who's a bona fide murderer. Let's get him out of there too. And let's end the show right with this nice background that was donated to us by a graphic designer who likes the show. We still got mad love. Appreciate you. I love this background. I love it. It's now become our de facto background. Why? Viewers like you who believe in our mission took the time to do some graphic design magic and then send it to us for free. We paid $0 for it. We appreciate you. All right, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. No, hold on. Before I go, I want to use the old outro. This is the new outro I had queued up. I'm going to use the old outro. Now, let's try that one more time. We'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.